India completed a weeks-long national vote today, one that will determine which party controls its parliament and whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi will win a second term. Exit polls show Modi's party leading, but the final results will come Thursday when all of the ballots cast since April 11th are counted. For more on India's election process and the issues facing the world's largest democracy, I spoke with Jeffrey Gettleman, the New York Times South Asia bureau chief, who was in Chennai, India, and joined us by Skype. Just a bit of background for the American audience, we're used to reporting results and exit polls in a matter of hours, if not days. Explain how long the Indian election is and why it's that way.
This is the world's largest election in human history, and it may also be the world's most prolonged election. It started more than 5 weeks ago. The way they do voting here, it happens in 7 different phases spread out over 5 weeks. So it started in April. The voting has proceeded pretty smoothly around the country. There were 900 million registered voters, which is larger than the population of the United States and Europe combined. And today is the last day of voting. And once that happens, there's 3 or 4 more days, and then they release all the results at once.
How much of this is a referendum on the prime minister and his promises?
That's exactly what it is. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, is a larger than life figure. He's an incredible orator, very forceful speaker, one of the most domineering politicians India has produced in decades. In the plus column, India remains a relatively strong economy, the sixth largest. It has succeeded in projecting its image abroad more forcefully under Modi than it has in previous prime ministers. And Modi has all of these ambitious social and economic initiatives that he's trying to finish, which he hasn't. That's in the positive for Modi. And the negative, he's accused of being very divisive, of separating Indians by caste and by religion. This happens subtly, and the critics say that it's often members of his party that are doing the instigating between these different communities, not Modi himself. But the result has been high tensions between Hindus and Muslims, lynchings of many Muslims and lower caste Indians, and a sense of fear that India is pulling apart along these very fragile social axes. Also, joblessness is a big problem in India. The country needs to create something like 1 million new jobs a month to keep up with the population growth and the number of young people entering the workforce.
And what about on the world stage and foreign policy? How has Modi managed these last 5 years, especially in relation to, say, the powerful neighbors of China and Russia and the relationship with the United States?
It's a really good question. Modi has promoted India more than any recent prime minister in decades. He travels a lot. He nearly went to war with Pakistan a couple months ago, saying that India would not tolerate any terrorism that was linked to Pakistan at all. And India has nuclear arms, Pakistan has nuclear arms. He really was risking a major confrontation to take this aggressive posture, and he did it, and it won him lots of support. With the United States and China, it's really interesting. Here are the two superpowers left in the world, an old one and a new one, and India is sandwiched right in between. The United States would love to make India its partner in this region to check China, but India has a long history of being neutral on the stage of world affairs, and Modi is pushing that. He's doing business both with Russia and with the United States. And the last thing I would say is India's economy is enormous. It's the sixth largest economy in the world, and it's growing every year. 1.3 billion people, a high-tech sector, lots of other industries, more infrastructure. So even though there's many poor people in this country, just by the sheer scale of the economy, it's a world player, and Modi has been pushing that.
All right, Jeffrey Gettleman, South Asia bureau chief of the New York Times, joining us via Skype. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.